But I just want to, clarify this point because I know some of my followers, especially my followers who've been with me a long time, be like, Ellen, why are you ever having any medication? And so first of all, we've got to be realistic, right? So the realistic thing is that in some cases, um, the natural alternatives just are not as effective. And the first one that we're going to talk about is painkillers, and that's an obvious example where there just isn't a supplement that is as effective generally as drugs. And so most people, when they're in pain, they just take a drug. That's the reality. Doesn't matter if they're health gurus. Now, I know exceptions. I know people who never take painkillers. I personally hardly ever take it, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the category, even the most extreme circumstances, but for non-purist reasons. But most people do. So we need to talk about what the options are and what the best option is. And the other thing is, for the people like, oh, but it's not natural, I really want to emphasize that the line between foods, supplements, and medications is largely arbitrary. So, meaning it's a case of where you choose to draw the line. And in fact, different circumstances will draw the line differently, and different countries will draw the line differently. So there are some things like melatonin, DHEA, for instance, which are classed as prescription only drugs in the country I live in now, the UK, but I can just buy them in the US and ship them over to me. That's totally fine and that's totally legal. So that line about which they are supplement drug is pretty arbitrary. There are even things like modified versions of vitamin B1 we've talked about, for instance, benfotiamine, some countries, drug, other countries, supplement. And then the line between food and supplements, again, like a lot of the time, it's like, is it a curry ingredient or, is it a supplement? It just depends. If you put, like ginger, garlic, curcumin, cumin, like all these things, fennel, like saffron, I could probably come up with six more. There's like a dozen things that all have powerful, like even sometimes, honestly, drug-like or as powerful and more powerful drug-like effects, which are also just ingredients in everyday foods. So, the idea that there is this strict separation between these things, I think we need to disabuse ourselves of that. It's like if it's in a meal, then it's a food. If it's sold, in a supplement store, then it's a supplement. And if you have to go to a pharmacy to buy it or get a prescription for it, it's a drug. But often there's a huge amount of overlap. So I just want to clarify that really key point, because otherwise, when I'm talking about, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this light stuffing, you could do this medication, people are like, oh my God, that's totally different. And I'm like, not really,